Fala galera, Marquezine de volta com mais um vídeo. Hoje, novamente, temos um vídeo mais longo para preparar vocês para as possíveis mudanças na próxima atualização. Cada uma das coisas tratadas aqui podem vir no próximo patch, então fica ligadinho aí. Antes de qualquer coisa, caso goste desse tipo de vídeo e queira ficar informado sobre Valorant, não esquece de se inscrever no canal. Praticamente 90% das visualizações aqui são de não inscritos, então considere se inscrever para dar uma força, valeu? Dito isso, agora vamos pro vídeo. Valorant postou recentemente em seu Twitter que o mapa Ascent não terá mais destaque na rotação de mapas. Antes, ele vinha com vantagem sobre os outros mapas, e por isso você não jogava aquele mapa ruim, como é que chama? Split. Então, a partir de agora, todos os mapas possuem as mesmas chances de aparecer. E hoje, um jogador reclamou da falta de incentivo e de objetivos em Valorant, e ele foi respondido por um Rioter. Sua reclamação de forma resumida era que, atualmente, você pode obter tudo em Valorant se você pagar por isso. Não existe nada no jogo para você evoluir que não possa ser comprado. Isso significa que não existe recompensa por skill ou tempo gasto no jogo. No geral, as suas reclamações são que o jogo precisa de conteúdo e recursos exclusivos, acessíveis apenas àqueles dedicados a evoluir e a caçar isso no jogo, para que estes possam se sentir mais recompensados pelo tempo gasto. E o Rioter respondeu, agradecendo pelo feedback e dizendo que ele simpatiza com essa reclamação. E em seguida, ele confirmou que eles possuem diferentes sistemas em mente para recompensar maestria e tempo investido em Valorant. Eles apenas não vieram no lançamento do jogo. Ele também disse que não pode especificar, mas que a Riot está ouvindo essas reclamações e quer essas coisas também. Isso deixa claro que a Riot está querendo nos recompensar por jogar o jogo e não apenas pelo nosso dinheiro em troca de skins. Os contratos são interessantes, mas o conteúdo é bastante limitado. E basta jogar para obter, sabe? Não existe um grande objetivo. Mas o que vocês acham? Concordam com a reclamação dele? Eu queria aproveitar o espaço para corrigir uma informação passada por sites de notícias que usaram apenas trechos da fala Supercakes sobre o desenvolvimento de Valorant para consoles. Poucos sites passaram a informação correta e traduziram o que ela realmente quis dizer. Não foi apenas um "estamos trabalhando em um protótipo agora mesmo". Então, eu traduzi todas as falas da Supercakes para vocês entenderem melhor. Espero que gostem.
You know, that one's like, I think that's one of the more controversial topics out there that I've seen, and I completely understand why it's controversial internally to our dev team as well. I think what we've kind of said is, so we're prototyping that right now. Like, we are definitely prototyping that right now. But there's a way to play this game and there's a way to experience this game that we're not entirely sure translates completely to console play. And we really believe that the way this game is meant to be played is at this like hyper like strong level of competitive integrity, and we worry about players feeling like, you know, someone they're playing against has a competitive advantage because of the system they're playing on. And no matter how much work we do, I don't know if we can ever break that perception. So we need to be really, really cautious about moving forward on those types of platforms. But I do think there's like something to crack there that our team is really excited to crack. And so what we've said is, if we feel like we can deliver this experience on those platforms, we will. Like, we absolutely will. If we feel like we have to compromise on the experience so much so that it doesn't even feel like the same game anymore, then we'll just go make that game and put it on consoles, you know, and we'll have that be something else that we do. But we really want Valorant to stand for a certain type of gameplay and a certain type of experience, and we want that experience to be felt across any platform that it's played on. So it's not a no, for sure. And I think, you know, I've got a bunch of designers who are very, very excited to kind of prove that this is possible for us, but it definitely wasn't the focus out of the gate. And so it's going to be, if we were to do it, it'll definitely be delayed.
Então, podemos perceber que eles estão sim trabalhando em levar Valorant para os consoles. Porém, eles sabem que pode não ser a mesma experiência, e se for o caso de acabarem criando outro jogo, eles vão lançar esse jogo para o console e deixar o Valorant à parte, entende? Então, podem ficar animados, estão trabalhando no Valorant sim, porém, não esperem que seja exatamente a mesma coisa que temos no PC. Agora, seguindo para os devs, temos mais algumas novidades sobre coisas que estão trabalhando e que podem vir em algum momento para o jogo. Como foram muitas conversas com os devs, novamente eu vou opinar apenas o que eu considerar necessário para não estender muito o vídeo. Espero que vocês gostem.
Yeah, I think these are all like features that we would want, Marquezine, but I just don't know when they're coming. But yeah, these features seem fine, like saving highlights, getting replays, play the game. Like I think they're all good features. I just don't know when we would have the resources and time to get them all out.
I think smurfing's stupid. People are going to do it. We're probably going to have to fight it. I don't really have a strong opinion about it other than that. We'd consider, the closest thing I've talked about is I do have interest down the road at some point of doing utility denial in some way, but it's a later game thing and I want to make sure it has the right gameplay. So that's something, I'm not saying we're going to do that, but it's something I'd like to explore and see if that's something we'd like to do. I think it could be an interesting space. Oh, I actually like that feature a lot. I'd be surprised if we don't do something like that because I think a lot of people get kind of like bopped by the queue thing. You know what I'm going to do? That's exactly right, Samil. Videos found. I got to talk to the guys about this. I hate that it instantly requeues you. Because sometimes you're like, oh, my friend just came on. Let me go grab him.
This is back to where an accept button would work.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna bug those guys about it. Because that team is like, the store team is like so far away from me that it's like, I'm like, players think the price of something is like, they have mountains of data. They're gonna know way better than I do. I'm like, hey guys, this accept button thing, is this in the works? Are we doing a thing here? Because I think it's such one of those things that doesn't have a bunch of trade-offs. It's not like one of those things like pricing and e-commerce and skin rotations and content plans are all actually really complicated, nuanced spaces to design and generate, right? This really nice quality of life feature is not. We'd all want it. When can we have it, and what's our plan? You know, that's like a lot easier of a conversation to have.
I mean,
outside
I think
of
the
your area.
trade-off is it takes like 5 extra seconds to get into the game or something.
Right.
I don't think that's a big cost.
Right. And if there's something like that, then what I could do is find out what that is and actually like tell people, because that'd be cool.
Oh, man.
Generally speaking, the mechanics could work, but I think you would never get that player fantasy that same way. It's like, you know how like rage. So imagine this, you know how like if you want to play a damage dealing character, well, that's a bad example because I think Raze does a better job. If you want to play a full support, if you play like Mercy or Soraka, there's no character that gives you that in this game. Sage is the closest thing, and it's not that. It's not 100% that, right? So I think you're never going to see something that feels like a shield or a protector or a lifesaver in real time. We actually did experiment a little bit with that, and we don't think it's good for the game. I think we'd like to work a lot more on some of the sound readability. I know I can't speak a lot to the... I actually know a lot about what we're doing there and what we want to do there, but it's still in a place where I can't commit to anything. We do think there's a lot of improvement for the gameplay readability on the sound for enemy ally, some location. We have some new attenuation ideas that are coming in. I mean, if Sage is plenty nerfed, then we don't need to do much more. We have one more nerf plan for next patch, but not exactly. Yeah, I can't really talk about that. After another agent or two comes out, I think then you'll have an idea of a release cadence, and I can probably talk about that more. So, that's interesting. I think that comes up a lot, and I think it's a good idea. But there's a couple of things that I think make it... there's a couple of non-obvious things that I think are important. Excuse me. A couple of non-obvious things that make turning off skins for, say, tournament play or by preference less desirable. One, I think it's better if the skins feel incorporated into the clarity design of the game, right? The entire game has been designed with this idea of clarity. In most games, League of Legends included, or have a lot lower of a bar of what needs to be, how clear a skin needs to be. And you even see, even League of Legends, you know, which I've worked on, so I get this, have skins you can't use in the tournament, right? Okay, it's fine. You could do that. It's not the end of the world, right? It's better if you don't have to, though. It's better if they're part of the game. And I also think there is players have a lower value in skins that they can't. So you're playing Valorant, this is what you see. right? You see your weapon and your hands and your abilities, right? When you're playing in 1P, you don't get to see your character like you can in League of Legends, or in a lot of cases, Overwatch with play of the game, team kind of photo shot at the end, emotes. All these things let you kind of expose and view those 3P skins in a really cool way, and I think that makes them more valuable. We don't have those methods, and we're not going to include 3P emotes. Like, it's game-breaking for a highly competitive tactical shooter. Doing corner peeks with emotes and shit like that, no good. We're not going to allow that. So one of the values of the skin is being able to show other players what your skin looks like. By letting other people turn it off, you do lose that value, and you lose that sharing component. At that point, just download, it's like you almost just want skin mods, right? So we'd like to find a way to incorporate it without having to turn them on and off. Does that make sense?
Sobre skins de agentes, algumas pessoas provavelmente não entenderam a mensagem, então vou dar uma explicada. Eu aposto 100% que as skins de agentes vão vir sim, eu sei que elas vão. Eles estão trabalhando em coisas como jogar da partida, replays, etc. Então, muito provavelmente teremos foto do time no final da partida, pois o público de FPS gosta disso. Então eu tenho certeza que as skins vão vir em algum momento, eu só espero que não atrapalhem a competitividade do jogo. Eu quero olhar pra gente e reconhecer que é ele, sabe? Em jogos de FPS temos pouco tempo para reagir, então se eu demorar a identificar ou não identificar que é o inimigo logo de cara, eu morro e isso é vantagem pro inimigo. Então, é só isso que eu quero. E qual a sua opinião quanto a skin de agente? Concorda comigo?
No community-created content like skins and maps will not be a feature that we're supporting for any time in even the short or medium term, maybe ever. I can't go into a lot of the details on that. I know it's both not a priority, but it also might be a thing we never want to allow to happen, but that's not my department either. I don't know. I don't think we'll be doing skin economy. I don't think you'll see something like that, but I can't speak to that very much. In choosing maps, we're currently not planning on supporting choosing maps. 2 reasons I know about. You'll have to ask Volcano for deeper understanding, but here's the 2 reasons I know. 1, Valorant's about not just being skilled, but flexible as well. If you can win on you need to be able to win across all maps to be successful. You need to have that flexibility. We don't want Mirage Dust 2 star. You're like, I'm good at Dust 2 and I just play Dust 2. 2, it lowers the map pool. Like, let's say one map's less popular. People who want to queue for that map tend to also then have longer waits. And I know 3 is we don't have enough maps right now to do that. I know Volcano also has probably additional context about why he's the kind of strong proponent. He owns the maps of why to not choose maps. So you have to ask him for deeper insight into that. Yeah. Not immediately, but we're going to keep watching it. It is what's the best word? It's our suspicion that Breach is probably really strong. But we want to let it shake out. We want to let players really kind of beat it up a little bit. A lot of the time we'll have suspicions about stuff, and unless it's like breaking one of the rules of our game, or breaking our tactical loop, or disrupting how the game's kind of supposed to work broadly with like, strategy, high lethality, high consequence, very defender's advantage, things like that, using tools to take ground. If it's matching that tactical loop, we're okay with it until we kind of see what's happening with it, you know what I mean? We will add a DM mode. We did mention that already. Yeah, we are going to be doing deathmatch modes. We'll do kill cams eventually. It's just a feature we haven't gotten finished yet. We definitely want to do them. I think we should do them in rated. I know we're having an argument about that, but I'd like them in rated too, because I think people are like, well, they'll show me my spot. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's fine. It's just clarity. Currently, no. Maybe when the agent roster gets longer, we'll revisit it, but for now, no. We also think mirror matches are fine in this game. No, probably not, honestly. We want that level of sound versus speed trade-off that exists as it does now.
Minha opinião quanto aos passos é a seguinte: certas ações deveriam fazer mais barulhos, mas 30 metros é uma distância muito grande para se ter constantemente, sabe? Valorant é um jogo que no geral é lento, e nós somos praticamente obrigados a andar no shift o mapa inteiro, para não entregar muito nossa posição. O inimigo é capaz de te ouvir de incríveis distâncias e isso ignora qualquer parede, textura de parede ou coisa do tipo. Então acho que uma redução para uns 20 metros seria suficiente para não forçar o jogador a ficar no shift o tempo todo, principalmente em situações de tensão ou de clutch, sabe?
You know, I normally wouldn't talk about this, but I will say, I'll say this. Our goal is to not keep all the roles extremely, like 100% equal. Obviously, we have 4 duelists and 2 of other things. But I would say expect Sentinels and Initiators to be made up for before we get to like 5 duelists, right? So we do want to kind of keep, you know, raising it up a little bit. I do expect we'll always have a little bit more duelists in the game than we will other classes. Not maybe forever, but for the short term at least, or the medium term. Just because I think, frankly, I think duelists are cool and fun and popular and people like them. And I think having a couple of flexible options there is a little easier. But yeah, we'll be trying to balance out the roles more in the future. So that question is, we do think Viper's a bit weak. We're working on her now. Her identity is supposed to be large range, long persistence vision control, and map control. That wall is probably the single most powerful smoking tool in the game, but it has limitations on where you can put it so much that I think, while it's high commitment, I do believe we've seen plays where you can actually really leverage that thing well. But the problem is you can only put it in a few spots on the map. It lacks the flexibility of a lot of the other smokes. We think by fixing that, she can be that really long, high control agent for longer, slower plays and the risk of fakes at the cost of the execute smokes. Although the wall can allow you to execute if placed right and you don't fake too, alongside with, you know, now a jet smoke or something like that. And I think she can combine with a little bit of help to do something like that, but give a lot more map control. And so we'll be buffing the ability to put that wall in many more spots on the map. Hope that helps.
Bom, galera, o vídeo fica por aqui. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se gostou, deixa seu like e se inscreve para apoiar o canal. Se possível, compartilhe o vídeo, pois ver nossa comunidade crescendo tem me deixado imensamente feliz e motivado a trazer mais. Esse mesmo eu tô há 20 horas recolhendo tudo e editando sem nem ao menos dormir, mas tudo tá valendo a pena com todo o apoio de vocês. Muito obrigado por tudo. Eu fico por aqui e até a próxima, guys.